Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending my session. It's my first time here in Istanbul, in Turkey. I'm really honored to be here, so thank you. So, today I'm going to talk to you about security. That sounds boring, no? But you have no choice. There will be a point in your project that you have to add security. And most of the time, you will do it at the end of the project. The project manager will say, hey, Seb, did you add the security layer? Did you add the logging forms? Did you manage users? And you say, oh, no. And you do it again. You implement everything by yourself. You package your app. You put it to production. And you start a new project, and guess what? You do the same thing. You have to do all again your security. So I have some good news today. You still can keep doing that, adding your security at the end of your project, but this time you won't have anything to do. And that's what my talk is about. So I'm Sebastien Blanc. I'm half French, half Dutch. That's why I have this weird accent. I work for Red Hat in the Keycloak team, and you can follow my trolls here on Twitter with this handle. So let's see how we can make it easy, security, and especially with Spring Boot application. So what we really want to do is to delegate our security. That's what Kim does. She delegates her security to a bodyguard. She don't have to care about it. He deals with heavy stuff. And you see, he looks really angry. So that's what Keycloak is. Keycloak is a server. You download the zip, you unzip it, you start it, you configure your applications, and that's it. It's all secured. To give you the big picture of how things work, let's take a look at this island. So the main concept of Keycloak is you give Keycloak a realm. That's a hard word to say for me in English, realm. So I say a territory. So you say, here Keycloak, here's my territory. There are some cities in there, and you have to secure them. So that is a realm that Keycloak has to secure, and we have different cities. In the north, we have JEE land. No one wants to go there anymore. Not sure why. On the contrary, we have Angular land. That's the place to go. Everyone wants to go there. We have microservices land. Not sure what is happening there. And of course, the king of the world in the middle, Node.js land. Okay? And you arrived, you navigate with your boat. You navigate to Angular land. So you open the browser and you navigate to your Angular app. And you arrive there, and of course, you have border control. And there they say, hey, Seb, you're not authenticated. Please go to the Keycloak Island, that is this small island, authenticate yourself, and then you can come back. So you get a redirect. And when I say a redirect, you really get an HTTP redirect. And you're redirected to Keycloak. On the Keycloak page, you have a login form. You enter your credentials, and if everything is OK, you get a stamp, and you can go back to the island to visit all these awesome cities. This stamp is not just a random generated token. It's a bit more than that. It's a token that contains payload. We call that a JOT. I don't know why we pronounce that a JOT, but we say JOT. So JOT is basically some JSON that contains payload about your username, your last name, or any custom payload that you want to add. And you can use that token and give it around the other application. All the application can use that to verify first if you are really authenticated and if you have the correct role to access this service or this service. I go quickly because I want to keep time for the demo. Though a JOT has always a header, not really interesting. The claims, that's the payload, that's the important part. So we have some mandatory fields like exp, sub, but roles, for instance, that is a totally custom payload. The important thing about a JOT is that it is signed. So Keycloak has a private and a public key. It will use its private key to sign the token. So if you change anything to the token, to the claims, the signature won't be valid anymore. That is how a JOT looks like once it's converted to base 64. What happens when an application receives a request with this token? So it takes the token, and then it retrieves the public key from Keycloak, and it verifies the signature. If the signature is correct, you can move on, and you can go further with your request. Okay? That was really quick intro to Keycloak. Keycloak is really more than that. As I said, it's an out-of-the-box solution. We will see that in 1 minute. You just unzip it, and you can start using it. Everything that I will show you here is open source, you see, Red Hat. So that means that you can try that out, but you can also contribute. So please, if you want to contribute to Keycloak, could be just documentation, bug fixing, or crazy features. Just do it. We love pull requests. Out of the box, we support OpenID Connect. That is our preferred way to go. But of course, we also support SAML 2 and Kerberos. We have some social logging, brokering. That means that you can add your Twitter, Facebook account on the logging forms. We will see that in the demo. User federation. Imagine you have a running LDAP, Active Directory, in your company. Well, Keycloak can bridge with these active directories. Okay. Here we are again, yes. A single sign-on, really important. That means if I log in one app, I open another tab, and I access another application. I don't have to log in again. SPIs, if you want to expand, if you have a really particular use case, and Keycloak don't offer that, we have a lot of SPIs, extensions points, where you can implement your own features. And we also offer a user account management profile. That means that when the user is logged in, he can access his profile to reset his password, change his details. So that comes all with Keycloak. We have more than that. Public key rotation. We can detect brute force if someone tries to force your login. One-time password, that is really nice. So if you want some two-factor authentication, it's just one checkbox. You click on the Keycloak console, and you have one-time password. Authorization layer. I could just spend 1 day speaking to you about authorization. There's so many stuff. Today, we will keep it on the authentication part and not so much about authorization. But if you want to centralize all your authorization, Keycloak has all you need. That's just some promo. We were on the tech radar from ThoughtWork. We were really happy about that. Next week, the new edition is coming out. And I really hope we are here now. And I hope that next week we will be here. That is in the Adopt. So that's just shameless promo. OK, let's do some live coding now, because that's what you want to see. And let me just drink a bit with this strange bottle. That's funny. OK, I want to bring you through the whole journey. If you start using Keycloak for the first time, where do I start? How do I use it? Well, you start on keycloak.org. I have a really low resolution. That will be funny. Don't worry. OK, you start here, and you download the server. You see, I just downloaded it this morning. OK? It's a zip. You unzip it. So I unzip it here. Let me clear that. I unzip it here, and I'm just launching my Keycloak server. And I just give some parameters for the ports. OK, so first thing we want to do is to go on our Keycloak console. and we are going to configure our realm, our territory, okay? So let me go to the Keycloak console. And because it's the really first time I log in, I need to create an admin user. So let me create a really secure admin user. Wow, super security. And now I can log in to my console. That is my Keycloak console. From here, I can create my realms, define my clients. Client is any app that Keycloak secures. It can be a web app, can be a backend app. For Keycloak, it's a client. I can create my users, my roles. So first thing we will do is create a new realm. And let's call it Java Day. OK, so I created my realm, and the first thing I want to do is create a client that I will secure. So I create a new client, and this client will be called the product app, because we are going to create a product app. Best app ever, you will see. Here I put just where it will be running. My app will be running on localhost 8080. I save. And let's take a quick look at the defaults. It's really funny how they do that. OK. I can keep all the defaults here. I will be using OpenID Connect. It's a public client. And that is the only mandatory field. That's my redirect URL. When I go to Keycloak to log in, my app needs to be redirected back. So that's where that happens. And that's it. That's all I have to do. Now let's create a role. Let's create a simple user role. OK. And last thing, I need to create a user. So let's create a new user. Username is the only mandatory field. Let's call it Sebi. And by default, Sebi don't have any credentials. So let's create some credentials for Sebi. Sebi, really secure. And I reset my password. Yes. OK. My Keycloak server is ready. Now I can start with my application. OK? And in my talk, I say that we are going to secure a Spring Boot application, right? So let's create a Spring Boot application. And where do you start when you do a Spring Boot application? You go to OK. Start.spring.io. I won't do the Josh joke because I cannot zoom in on my screen. Just here, I just go to Spring 1. We have support for Spring 2. It has been shipped this week, but it was a bit too risky to do that now in a demo. So we keep here. What do we want to do? We want to create our product app. And what do we need? It's a web app, so we need web. It's a server-side application, so I want some templating engine. Let's use FreeMarker. And I want Keycloak. OK, web, FreeMarker, Keycloak, generate project. Let's go. OK, now I got my app here. Let me extract that to how did I call it? Istanbul. Here. Oh. Here, extract. OK. So did I extract it in the Keycloak stuff? Yes. Oh. Product app. Sorry. Here, let me just paste it here. OK. And let's open a new. Let's open the project. So it's not Summit yet. That is next week. Istanbul. Istanbul is here. Product app. OK. Let me do that in a new window. OK. So here I have my empty project. 30 minutes. We're great. OK. Resolving dependencies. I hope my internet connection is great. So here I have just an empty Spring Boot app. And it's resolving dependencies. Yeah, that's funny. OK. So what we, while Maven is going crazy, let me explain you what the app will do. So we will have a product app, best app ever. It will have one landing page, a public page, and on this page there will be a link to the products. And when I click the products, I come on a secure page that shows my products. Okay? Why is the? Oh, of course. Oh, I know what I did. I used started Spring.io, a new version of Spring Boot. Well, that's funny. Okay, so he's downloading the whole internet for real. I was making the joke with Gamesh this morning. I say, the real challenge will be to delete your M2 folder just before a talk. So it happened. OK, we're done. Here I have an empty project. So let's first start by creating our landing page. So let me create a new HTML file, and let's call it index. And that will call my awesome landing page. OK. Again, here, title, my landing page. And as I told you, we just have one link, href to my products and my products. OK? So that's all we need. And then we want a template of my products, of course. So let's create a template called products.ftl because it's a free marker. OK. I need some imports. You can see how fast I type. HTML. OK. And I want my body. Basically, what I want to do is iterate through my products. OK, so here I just have a shortcut because it's not that interesting to see. OK, so basically what I do, I will iterate. Can everyone see it? Yeah. I will iterate through my products and list them. And the other thing that I want is a logout button. So here I do a logout. And logout. OK, we're good to go. So let's now create the app itself. So let's open my class here. What is the first thing you need to do with, 4 spaces if you want. Come on. What is the first thing you need to do with a Spring Boot app is to create a controller. OK, so we create a controller, and we create, it's a class. My controller, OK. And here we defined our REST endpoint products. So I do a get mapping to products. OK, and it will return a string, get products, and I inject my model. Model. OK, here we go. Model add attribute. Here I add my products. And for now, we just do a hard-coded as list. And here we return iPhone, iPad, iPod. OK? That's all I need to do, and I return the name of my template. So it's products. Here we go. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. String get product. I need to make it public, I think. OK, and the other thing I need to implement is the logout. So get mapping on logout. Logout, OK. Public string logout. And here I just need to inject my servlet request. And I just do request dot logout. And, oh yeah, throws exceptions. Don't do that in wheel. I'm a bit exception. Yeah, okay. Something is wrong. What did I do? Oh, return. Thank you. So it was just a check to see if you are paying attention. So when I log out, I go back to my landing page. Okay, so I'm done with my app. Now I need to configure Keycloak. We can run the app. The first thing, let me just do Keycloak enabled false. Let me just disable Keycloak, and let's just run the app to make sure it's running. So I just run my app. Here we go. And if I go to new incognito window, localhost 8080, my awesome landing page. You can see also my CSS skills here. And my products, again. It's a bit weird. A part is missing off the screen here. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but you see here the products. Okay, let's secure it with Keycloak. So what I do, I don't have to change the code at all. I just need to provide some configuration. First thing I need to tell is where is my Keycloak server running. So I said it's running on localhost 8180/auth. Then I need to tell them on which realm my app is. So the realm is Java Day. And I need to say the name of the resource. That's the name of my client. So it's product app. And I have to specify it's public client. True. OK. These are the mandatory fields. But I haven't defined any security constraints now. So let's define some security constraints, just like we will do it with a Java EE app, where you do that in your web.xml with security constraints. Here, it's pretty much the same thing, except you do that in your configuration file. So here, again, you can see how fast I type here. OK, so basically what I do here, I define a security constraint. My user needs to have the role user. And if it hits this path, well, the application should make sure it's authenticated. OK? I'm done. My app is secured. Let me restart it. And let's hope that demo gods are with me. OK, my awesome landing page. And now, if I click on my products, I've been redirected to Keycloak, you see? And here, oh, I forgot to do something. I forgot one thing in my console. I know that before getting my user that I just created, I didn't give him the role. I'm so happy I user add selected. I forgot to give the role to my user. OK, let's go back to the Java Day. OK, so now if I log in with Sebi, I'm on my secured page. You see? That's easy. And I can log out. And if I go here, I come back here. So let's play a bit now with this login screen. OK, so we'll be funny with this resolution, but whatever. Here on my realm, I get realm settings, and I get this tab, login, where I can a bit pimp my login screen. So imagine I want user registration, so new users can register, of course. I want to have a link if I forgot my password, so I do that. Here in the email, I just have to define my email server. Remember me, yes, I don't want to over and over again identify myself. OK, I save it, and now if I go back to my screen here and that I refresh, now you can see I got the, I'm in front of it. You have the remember me, you have the forgot password, Okay? What about doing some social login using your Twitter, your GitHub account? Let's see how we can do that. Let's go back to the console. And here I got something called identity providers. And if I click here, I have a whole list already filled in. But any OpenID provider should work. You all are GitHub, you all are developers here, so you all have a GitHub account, I guess. Let me just put here dummy numbers. You should create a real client on the GitHub site, but just to show you a bit safe. And let me add Twitter, for instance. Twitter, again, let me put here dummy numbers. And I save it. Okay, and again, if I go back to my screen here that I refresh, now I can log into my app using my social accounts, okay? And it just works. And it took me 5 minutes. Okay, so that's the first step, 90 minutes, awesome. What we did here was we secured, you know that Spring Boot is using an embedded servlet container, Tomcat here. What we did, we secured the servlet container. So in this case, we secured Tomcat. You can also switch to Undertow or for Jetty without changing anything to this. It will just work. But if you are doing Spring and you want to do some security, there's a big chance that you want to use Spring security. So let's see if Keycloak can play with Spring security, okay? First thing I need to do is to add a starter, the Spring security starter. So it's not the one from Keycloak, it's the one from Spring Boot, sorry. Okay, so that's the first thing I need to do. And for those who know a bit about Spring security, you probably know that you have to extend a web security class, where you define your security rules and stuff like that. So what we did with Keycloak, we created already a subclass of that, and you just have to subclass again this class. So let me show you how that works. Here I type really, really fast. So basically, you just have to extend this class here, and you can see that this class extends the Spring Security Web Security Configure adapter. That's the important one. So now I'm lost. Here, okay. I won't go through the details because it's not really interesting. It's pretty basic stuff. You can just grab that from the documentation and paste it. I took that from the documentation. The interesting part here is this, the configure method. So what I do here is a bit the same as my security constraints. I say any path hitting products should be authenticated and should have the role user, okay? And that's pretty much all I need. And what I can do now, because I'm not using the servlet container now, I'm using Spring Security, I can remove this. Okay, and if I start again, it should just do exactly the same thing, but now I'm using Spring Security. And I still have the support of Keycloak. Okay, so if I go back to my landing page, I log in with Sebi. Okay, it's just working. Yeah, I can do that quickly. Funny stuff that you can do, for instance, is it's just Spring Security here. So in my get products here, what I could do is inject my principal, for instance. Principal. Okay, and here I do model, add attribute, and username, principal, get name. Okay, so that's now in my model. I save that, and I go to my template, and here I do H1 hello username. Okay, by default, it will print out the UUID of my user. But I can change that. Oh, I forgot my template name. What a shame. Let me just live template. I'm using live template. Preferred. Oh, that's easy. Okay. Cancel preferred. Preferred. Okay. Here, preferred. I want to use my username as preferred. Okay. I start again. And okay. And now, if I log out, and if I log in, Sebi. I log out to, I went back too quickly. But you see now I can inject my principal, okay? So now I have 15 minutes left to go to the next step, because I think you will agree that this part here is horrible, returning a hard-coded list. So imagine that instead of returning a hard-coded list, we have a microservice that returns us the list of products. Let's see how we can do that. After drinking in the... So, I want to build the REST service. I have it already running, because otherwise I'm running out of time. But it's a really simple, it's again a Spring Boot app, written in Kotlin, because why not? Look how easy it's to create a REST service with Kotlin. That's my method. That's all I need. You see? So that's my service. I have secured it with Keycloak. So if we go, it's really annoying, this resolution. Okay. Here I've secured that. I can run it. It's work in port 8081. Okay. Let's just make sure it's running. And if I go to localhost port 8081/products, I should have an access denied. Client not found. Oh! Oh, yeah, sorry. Just ignore what you saw. I have to make this client bearer only. That means that this client, this app, just can accept requests with a token. If there's no token, just return an error, okay? And that should work now, and bearer only. And localhost 8081/products. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Unauthorized, my REST service is protected, okay? Now I need to change my product app so it can consume this REST service. And how do we do that in a secure way with Keycloak? So if you used to Spring and that you want to make REST calls, you probably know the REST templates. It's really easy to set up. You have your template, and you can make a REST call. So what we did, we made a Keycloak REST template that will do all the stuff for you, basically taking the token and put it in the header of your request. And you don't have to do anything. There's a train passing behind me. OK, here I need just to do some. So basically what I do here is not that interesting, but I create a factory. Ignore the error. That's IntelliJ complaining. Basically what I do, I create a factory for my template stuff, and then I just have to inject. I do an auto-write Keycloak REST template, OK. That's all I need to do, and now I can replace this part. And instead, I can call my REST stuff. And let me just grab again from the live coding template. I was not sure. Temcall. Let me just copy paste that. And again, it's not really interesting to see and what I do here. So here I call my template, I do a get, and I call the REST service that was prostatic that you saw just before, okay? And the response, and I put the product, the body is the products, I put it in my template, okay? It should work. Let's try. And just to make it sure that you believe me, you can see here I did put other, oh no, it's not here. I put other products here, Windows Phone, BlackBerry, so you believe me. Okay, my app is running. Let's go here, log out. You see? Windows Phone, BlackBerry. So now my app was able to consume the REST service. And I'm pretty cool on time. So the last part that I want to show you, now that we have a REST service running, we can write another app that can consume this service. So let's see how we could make a web app, a web-only app that consumes this service. And again, I won't do that app from scratch because it's not that interesting to see. I have here, whoa, here, oh. My God. Okay. I have here a really simple Angular 1 app. And let's take a quick look at the code. So what we provide a Keycloak JavaScript library that you can put in your projects. And basically, how does it work? It's happened here. You do a new Keycloak and you pass the configuration. So with Spring Boot, I show you the application.properties. For all the other Keycloak stuff, we usually use a keycloak.json file. So exactly the same, but in JSON format. What happened in this app is that I do Keycloak init, and I say on load, login required. And if I'm not logged in, then it will do the redirect and all the stuff to Keycloak. And if everything is OK, I come in this callback. I do my little Angular crazy stuff, factory stuff, and that's it. And then each time that I do a request, I want my Angular app to put the token in the header to make secured calls. What we do for this is we create an interceptor. It's pretty nice with Keycloak. You can with Angular you can pretty easily add an interceptor. So here again, I won't go through the details, but the important part is this. Here I make sure that I add the token to my header. And every call that my web app will make, it will add the token. And I need one last thing, is I need to define my client in the console. So let's go here, and let's create a new client, and let's call it product web. And it will run on localhost. I don't remember on which port it runs. Let me just double check that. 8083. OK, 8083. OK, we are all good. Let me see, web origins. Oh, that's a good one before. Because now to deal with cross-origin issues, have to put my origin here. But my REST app, I also have to tell it that it can support a REST, that it can support a course, sorry. So that's, oh, it's already there, OK. Oh, I already did it. Just with this line, if you add this line, Keycloak will handle all the course requests for you, the options calls and everything. So it's already done, awesome. Then we are good to go, I think. I can run my app. So it's just a web app. I just put Wildfly Swarm around it to have a web container, but it's just to have a web server. Okay, so now let's go here and port 8083. My web app. And if I do reload, Windows Phone, BlackBerry. Hey, and you may wonder, but I didn't have to log in. That's because single sign-on. I'm already logged here, so I don't have to log here again. Okay? 4 minutes, wow, I've never been so fast, I think. What I can show you, it's pretty interesting if you want to see that. When I do take a look at the request. So here I do my GET request, and what you can see here is my token. You see? Token. So if I grab this token, and I go to a site where you can inspect JOT.io, will be awesome with this resolution. Encode it, I put it here. Once it's decoded, you see it's product web, and you should have my roles here, user role, and preferred username, Sebi. You see, so this is what happens. I make the request to my app. That was basically what I wanted to show you. Securing first a monolithic app, server-side app, then extracting a service from it, a REST service, and securing that as well, and show how the both can communicate. And the third part, creating a web client that can also consume this REST service, and all in a secured way. That leaves us for some questions. We have 2 minutes for 2-minute questions. Does anyone have questions?
Yes.
Oh, the questions are there. Awesome. I didn't know that. Okay, the first one. What if Keycloak server get down in production? Well, we have support for clustering. Basically, Keycloak is built on top of Wildfly and JBoss EAP. So we rely on the clustering of Wildfly, and we even have cross-data center support if you want. So that's not an issue. How does Keycloak handle refresh token with JOT? So when you log in, you basically get access token, an ID token, and a refresh token. I can even show it here, I think. Ooh, don't look at the errors. I should have access here to Keycloak, no? Keycloak. I shouldn't have done that. But basically, when you log in, you get 3 tokens. You get a refresh token, access token. The access token is really a short lifespan. And then you use your refresh token to refresh this access token. Yeah, you can go back to the questions, sorry. Okay, is it possible to integrate with other security frameworks such as Shiro? Well, at this point, no, we don't integrate with Shiro. But what we do is we try to integrate with the existing underlying security system. For instance, if you use the Tomcat adapter, we will rely on the security valve. But no, we don't have support for Shiro. Is Shiro still a thing? I'm joking. Is that all? Other questions? No? No? Okay. That's nice timing because, okay. But anyway, I'm here the whole day. So if you have questions, I will be also outside in the discussion area. And the Keycloak is very unknown. What is the reason? Well, it's not that unknown. It's the community is really booming right now, yeah, maybe for some of you it was the first time, but yeah, we have a big community. And again, I will be outside to answer any other question or grab me during the day. I will be more than happy to answer you. Thank you very much.